How about now? Can you guys hear me now? I should be... things should be audible. Depression. Yes? Yes, we're all good. You guys are able to hear, to witness. I've got my puppies looking on in the pen. They're rooting for me, and I hope you guys are rooting for me as well, because we have a selection of foods that you are absolutely going to love. And if someone would mind going in and typing !menu, you will be able to see the full extent of the dishes that we are going to prepare for you today. And it looks like the spacing fucked everything up. I can change that very quickly. It's okay. 1 second. Yeah, it didn't want to let me take 400 lines to make this thing, which I guess is fair, but I wish it would have I wish it would have. Okay, 1 second. Alrighty, there we go. We should be all formatted, all ready to go. And yes, well, hold on. The heck? It should have been on an 80-second cooldown. Yeah, okay. I think it should be on... It should be on a cooldown. Thank you for the enthusiasm. Yes, we are going to get ready, and this is going to take a little bit because we're going to be preparing the foods as we go. So stick with us. We will be having a very full stream for you today. Right now we have a view of the preparation area, or of the serving area. We also, if you so desire, have a view of the preparation area. So you'll be able to see as we make some of our dishes, cut things up, prepare them, plate them, and then finally they will be served. So we are going to go ahead and get to the appetizer. I hope you guys are ready for that. The first thing that's going to be on our menu today is going to be the nachos. We are going to be serving nacho cheese cream, and you may be wondering, well, JD, what in the world is a nacho cheese cream? And well, the answer to that is relatively simple. Nacho cheese cream is a combination of nacho chips, nachos, with the classic cheese addition to the nachos. We are also going to be adding ice cream, a little bit of bacon, and chocolate syrup. So you guys are, like I said, about to be in for a very, very real treat. Let's get the camera going over here. And I am going to scoot on over here, out of frame for 1 second, just to grab the ingredients. We've got some ice cream in the fridge that we are going to grab and fire up. Now, this is going to be Tostitos with vanilla ice cream, chopped bacon, and chocolate syrup. So, I've got my menu. I'll keep that a little bit out of sight so you guys don't have to worry about that. No worries at all. Yeah, so give me 1 second to grab the ice cream from the freezer. And we've got a fresh little bucket. Oh, no, never mind. We have a slightly used bucket for you today. Okay. This is going to be our ice cream. We've got some vanilla right here. And we've also got some Tostitos. So this is going to be the base of our foods. I'm going to use a blue plate to kind of accentuate everything that's going on here. And so we're just going to start off with just, the nice tortilla chip base. For nachos, you've got to have a nice little mound of tortilla chips there. Costco's finest. Yes, absolutely. Can't get enough of Tostitos. I'm preferable to the original flavor. You may be preferable to, hint of lime or scoops or something like that, but that's just how I roll. And we have chocolate syrup outside. Actually, I'm gonna put this away really quickly because before we throw the ice cream on, we've got to do one important thing. We've got to make the bacon. And I, like a complete fool, bought a whole pack of bacon under the assumption that, yeah, I'll just cook it up and grill it, and here it is. So we're going to be cooking some bacon on stream. I'm going to be putting this over here, where the dining area is, and so we're going to be moving on over to the dining area. I will grab a plastic bag, so give me 1 second to do that. And the purpose of this plastic bag right here is just going to be that I'm not going to be making the entire thing. We're just going to be making some of it. So while I do that, I'm going to copy this, paste it there. I'm going to bring my chat onto the second monitor. So there we go. So please, if I'm doing this, I'm going back and forth between a couple of cameras. Yeah, no, I don't intend on wasting food by doing any of this. That is absolutely not my intention. We are not being frivolous with the food that we have. I am very much a believer in having good taste and no waste. As little as possible when I can help it. So we are just going to open this. I don't think there's a way to open it just straight up. So we're just going to kind of cut into it here, right at the edge. And I'm not going to do it long ways because that's going to require a big cut. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and sort of rip this part off here. Yep, there we go. Throw that away. We've got our garbage cans way off to the side here. Nothing to worry about now. I'm also going to extricate our paper towel. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. I'm going to free our paper towel holder. I may need to use some paper towels. So strap on in, and let me refresh my chat real quick because my monitors are not lining up. All right. Now that we've got this, we can just start kind of pulling a couple out. We're gonna go really heavy on the bacon because this is our stream and we can kind of do what we want. And what I want to do here is I want to make a lot of bacon. And I think that this is really, it's sort of the meat aspect of the nachos. This is not going nearly as well as I thought, pulling it out from the very end. But there we go, we got it. And then we're just going to store the bacon in this plastic bag. And all's well that ends well, I believe they say. Go ahead and close this one up. Hello, you. Do you mind being closed up? You seem like you're going to give me problems. Don't give me problems. Give me answers. All right, cool. Now we've got our bacon all packaged up. We can get the air out of it, and we'll throw it back in the fridge for a later date. Thank you, Jusu. We are being responsible. So, if you can't tell by now, this is not going to be a particularly fast-paced stream. I didn't make everything ahead of time, so, you know, we're just going to have time to chill out and talk about life and just how everything's going with you guys. And I hope everything is going good. While we chop this bacon and cut it up with a very small kitchen knife. I probably grabbed the wrong one out of the selection of knives that I had already assembled. But we're just going to go ahead and throw this stuff on here. And it should, this is uncooked bacon, it should get really, you know, cooked up and tiny. So I'm not too worried about the size in and of itself. We're going to go ahead and just throw those in there. Going to need to wash our hands after all this, but that's okay. That's par for the course. So anyway, what are your guys' favorite recipes with bacon in it? I am really partial to bacon on my pizza, and part of that's because I've been to a lot of fast-fired places that make really good bacon pizzas. I am going to cut off some of the fat in here just to be a little bit healthier. And we can give that to the dogs later, so we don't have to be so exceedingly wasteful. Let's go ahead and cut up these last bits. The fat's getting a little bit in the way there of us making these cuts, but that's okay. We'll persist. Is your pan not heated? No, it'll heat pretty quickly, so as soon as I throw them in, we'll get them in here. And and there we go. And so it'll start sizzling. I'm probably the only person on Earth who doesn't like a bacon heap. You might be one of a few, but you know, there's nothing wrong with it. It's certainly a fatty, meaty kind of product, and if that's not your jam, then that's not your jam. There's no reason to judge anyone on their preferences, so I certainly will not for you. And we can just get this heated up real quick, and just start spreading these ones around. And hopefully by the time we really get going, you're going to hear the bacon heaps, or the bacon sizzling going on, and that's kind of one of the most fun parts of all this, is getting that sizzle on. So hopefully you guys have a good view right now of what we're doing, just kind of going in and throwing this stuff around. And there we go, it's starting to sizzle. We put it on some pretty high heat, so yeah. Starting to get some burn going on. Oh, thank you, Mudlark. I'm going to put that on a slightly lower heat and let my cat out, because my cat is making some noise. Alright, we're back, and I don't know if you guys can hear that sizzle, but it is already getting a little toasty on this pan. And that's what we want. We want to get it all nice and cooked up. We've got some really small chunks here, so they should cook really in a jiffy. That's why we cut it up, and we didn't preheat the pan, because they'll cook sooner rather than later. One second. Oh, 1 second. Just fiddling with the lighting there real quick. Perfecto. And because we're using such small pieces, I'm going with this this quite small pair of tongs here. Pretty cute. I like them. Yeah, there you go. You can get that sizzle. I do love me some bacon and eggs in the morning, but I have to admit, it can get really hearty, and just a bit too much. I don't know, too much cholesterol, too much fat. It's one of those, too much protein. As much as I like bacon, it does feel like a compliment rather than its own thing. That being said, there are some Korean barbecue places that I've been to that make some really good pork belly or sweet pork. That it's basically just bacon, and in a slightly larger form, and all that stuff is good. But I feel like that's a bit of a special case, and I'm certainly not preparing anything like that in here. We've just got our pan. We've got an oven. Blue kettle. Yes, the blue kettle will be a factor for later. So we're going to let that sizzle really quickly. And while we do that, I am going to warm up my oven. And we're just going to warm it up to 250 for now, and then we're going to let it sit. Because the oven is going to come in handy later. And we can keep things warm in there in the meantime. So I hope you guys can get the sizzle. Let me know if you guys can get that sizzle, or if it's just kind of silent here. A little bit. As it gets a little bit more developed, you're gonna get some sizzles. Oh, I'm getting some grease splashes. Oof. May I steal the blue kettle? Unfortunately not. This was a gift for my mom for Christmas. It is blue is her favorite color, and she really adores this kettle. So doing that would unfortunately be a strike against my family, and that you wouldn't do that to my poor mom, would you? Sizzle is audible. Perfect. Perfect. I've got it on a omnidirectional, so you should really be able to hear that stuff getting in there. Does your family approve of your cursed food preferences? My family knows little about my cursed food preferences. I think my dad would say something along the lines of like, "All right, all right, fine, do you, whatever. I don't approve, but you do it." My mom would say, "Oh, okay. So how's that supposed to work?" And then she'd let me explain, like, "Yeah, here's what I'm doing with all this. I'll steal all the spoons then." You can steal the little spoons. We have like an uneven assortment of spoons. Not this one. Not this one. This is a solid spoon. You can steal this spoon in particular. You can have this one. So already, the fatty parts, you can really just let those kind of burn a little bit. And in the end, you're just going to want this all to just get all real heated. So here's actually what we're going to do is we're going to make this go a little bit quicker. We're going to put a lid on this whole operation. And we're going to turn the heat up just a bit. And when I take this lid off, you are going to hear some big sizzling. I don't know anyone who has a matching set of cutlery in their house. Well, we've got, in terms of our cutlery, we've mostly got this like sterling silver type of silverware kind of cutlery. So it's all this like metallic, this thick metallic stuff. There are various sizes of there are various levels of thickness, and that's kind of the determination of like, hey, was this part of the set or was this somewhere else? Yeah, see, Raccoon Trash Boy has one. Ooh, oh, it's getting angry. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but there's a lot of condensation happening on the top of this pan, and a lot of steam happening. So we're going to take a small risk. We're just going to go ahead and remove that. Oh my goodness. Oh, you can already... Oh, that release of steam and heat. Oh, that fat sizzling. Absolutely perfect. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of scrabble everything off here. And we're going to let that go in for another round. And when that's done, we are going to say, all right, we have accomplished our goal here. And done everything we need to. In the meantime, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to gather these bits into a cup, and I will feed them to the dogs later. There are probably practical home uses for fat shavings, but I'm not certain what they are, so... I left a little gap here, so there's some steam coming out, so as soon as I take it off, it's not just going to all explode out in a vapor of gases and liquid. So... And this is the most preparation intensive part of our nacho cheese cream, just the bacon. Bacon was specifically requested. I believe this request was by Dan, aka tonight's special guest, and I should pull it up to see who requested what. I'll have the contributions done later. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn that back to low, because we're going to get a big sizzle here. You guys ready? Whoa, ho, ho. A big sizzle going on here. And this... Oh, yeah. Now this is all fried up. This is the good stuff. I'm a little scared because of the grease burns, but... That's all right. And we're going to use this pan later on, so getting it a good layer of grease and sizzling and stuff like that is going to be absolutely massive. So we're just going to let this sit right here very quickly. Let that kind of burn off. And we're going to go back on over to our preparation stage. So now that we've got the bacon sizzling, what we're going to do is we're going to have the ice cream come out next. So in order to do that, I'm going to grab the ice cream scooper, which is locked in a cabinet somewhere. And perfect. We've got a stainless steel ice cream scooper, ergonomically designed for maximum scoopage. We're just going to leave the oven on now. Now, the oven's got about 250 degrees of ambient heat working with it, so we can store food items in there for later if we want to just keep them warm and snack on them in a bit. But now we have the bacon part done. We can really go ham on these nachos. And in case you're wondering, I do intend to finish these dishes that I make. I may not eat them all now. In fact, I won't eat all of them, all of them now. That wouldn't really be the most germane thing to do. You know, just sitting on camera eating slowly. So we're at least gonna eat some of it, obviously. But now, let's get ready with some Kirkland signature vanilla ice cream. And Raccoon Trash Boy, I love that description of your cutlery. I love that you have such a organized set of cutlery and bowls and dishes and stuff like that. I have a few, and they ended up getting just kind of everywhere. So this ice cream scooper is actually specifically designed that you hold the bottom of it like so. You can kind of see it's got the little crenellations there for your fingers. You hold the bottom of it, and what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to radiate the heat underneath, and that melts the ice cream as you scoop it, which I think is neat. Ah! Okay. So here's what happened. I dropped the ice cream. It's not on the ground. There was a bucket of water that I have next to me for safety purposes, and it fell in the bucket of water. So no harm, no foul, I guess. But we're gonna try that one again. And ice cream, you know, ice cream can be fickle. That's the thing I don't like about it. It can be really hard to work with. It's not the most malleable material. So we're just gonna go ahead and throw that ice cream. Oh my! See, look at that. Like, understanding and anticipating the movements of it. Unfortunately, what we can do is we've got these nachos here, so we can kind of just make a little nest. And I think in order to facilitate that, my mistake was thinking that you could just throw it on top of the nachos. You cannot. It just joined. Yeah, I hope you joined. The nacho will be missed. And I think what we're getting is, I think we're getting a really high contrast between like these nachos and everything. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put the scooper in here. I'm going to turn off the lights, just a couple of them, and see if that makes things a little bit more visible. Okay. Well, that adds a sort of graininess to it, but I hope you can see the ice cream a little bit better against the backdrop of the everything else. I'm going to move these plates out here, so you're not going to get as much glare. A bit, yeah. Let me know if you like it with the lights on. It's a little bit more contrast, but it's a little bit brighter, so there's a little bit better video quality. Or if you like or if you like it like this. Or, more realistically, I could probably just get a lamp and shine it in here. Or perhaps open up the windows a bit. But okay, we're going to have our second scoop of ice cream here. And thank you, Ice Cream Scooper. You have done your job admirably. I no longer need you. And we're going to go ahead and put that ice cream back in the freezer. Yes, that is for safety. It's pointed away from me for safety. Just in case. Don't forget about the steak knife. But yes. Now, we're going to do a pro gamer move. And we are going to insert the bacon directly from the pan onto the ice cream nachos. And this, oh my god, like, they're so warm. They're so hot. This is, I mean, they're dripping. This is as much as you could ask for from this dish. We're getting all of the good stuff. And I'm really just like, I want to make sure that, like, not even a crumb goes to waste here. This is all just so good. And I am anticipating devouring every bite of it. One last little crumb here. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And that is our first little dish. And I'm going to perform another pro gamer move and remove the fat from this pan. Just some of the excess. So, perfecto. Put that back on the stove. And turn that off. Nice, nice, nice. Now, as promised, this is not totally done. We've got our Hershey's chocolate syrup. And we're just going to pour some Hershey's on there whenever we can convince it to come out. And there we go. It looks fantastic. Now, I think the key weakness of this is going to be the strength of the chips. So let's go ahead and take a look and see whether or not this nacho cheese cream can hold up. I'm going to put the ice cream back in the freezer so that later on I don't get any food-related illnesses. And this syrup back in the fridge. And it's really funny because I have to do a very specific kind of, like, spinning dance in order to access the fridge with my microphone still attached in here. But did you not heat up the nacho chips? I did not heat up the nacho chips. That's not something that I would do. So I made the executive decision, I suppose, to not heat up the nacho chips. And I'm going to grab a quick appetizer of water. So here we are. We've got the nacho cheese cream on this plate, and it is nacho chips with ice cream, bacon, and squirts of chocolate syrup. And actually, the fork is maybe not even necessary. The original request was bacon ice cream. Oh, I see. So you wanted me to make specifically ice cream made from bacon. Unfortunately, I misinterpreted your request a little bit. So, but yes, that is why there's ice cream here. And so let's just go ahead and take a scoop. And the ice cream's being a little uncooperative here. Here, I'll grab one that's got some bacon and chocolate on it. And you know, it's savory. It's quite savory. So this is obviously, and I don't even really need to say it for you guys, but this is obviously sort of a group appetizer for everyone to dig in. So please don't please don't judge me too harshly for having this whole plate for myself. But here you can see we've got bacon, ice cream on a nacho chip. That's such an interesting combination. And chocolate and bacon is a great combination. Chocolate and ice cream is a good combination. Ice cream and bacon is a good combination. The nacho chips add an interesting flair. And you know what? The verdict on this one is that Bees was right. By heating up the nacho chips here, this would have really rounded out the dish. And now that I realize that was an option, I'm kind of regretting not doing it. But there you go. There you go. So if you're going to make this nacho cheese cream at home, my advice to you is be sure to warm up your chips before you do so. for maximum flavor. But the way you get the crunch of the chips, and then the soft, cool ice cream, and then the bacon and the chocolate syrup on top of it, it really rounds it out. And I'm very happy with this dish. I think this is a really good start to our day. And really anything where you can just throw on a bunch of bacon is going to be. So, yeah, not too much to say. What's great, and a little surprising, is that the bacon offers an almost perfect medium. Not a medium, a sort of almost a binding agent between the crunchiness of the chip, which breaks into shards when you eat it, and the softness of the ice cream, which, for the most part, tries to remain like one clump as much as it can. So, between the crunchy chip and the soft ice cream, if you just ate them together, you would kind of have ice cream with like bits of chips in it. But when you add the bacon, it really holds it together very well, and in a surprisingly robust manner. Yeah, definitely adds a body texture. Quite good. I mean, this is maybe even more. This is probably more of a dessert now that I think about it. But it tastes great. It absolutely tastes great. I have no complaints with this dish whatsoever. Like, we did establish with what Bees said that it would be a little bit better with the chips warmed up, but even so, absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. I'm going to grab a quick paper towel just to wipe my hands off a bit, because this is more of a finger food than anything else. All right. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed the preparation of the nacho cheese cream. This is very delicious. And I'm going to continue grazing on it as we stream. But while we do that, we have another very excellent dish to prepare. So let's go ahead and head on over back to the staging area, because we are going to go on to raw beef tea. Let me change the camera angles really quickly. There we go. So this one is going to be very fun, I think. Now, I did tell you that we have this kettle for a reason, and the reason is that we're going to make some tea. Absolutely. Now, I will admit, I've never made tea before. So, here's the thing. I don't know how much water to use, and I don't know if you need to have it above the little spout. If anyone can tell me whether or not I need... No, I have not made tea. So, I currently have it filled up, like, a lot. Hi, tea, can I have you? Thank you. But I currently have it filled up quite a bit. If you can sort of see the water going up there. If I need to make it a lot lower, then I will. But, fill it about 1/2 to 1/3. Okay. What I can do then is, like I said, I have this safety bucket. So I can just kind of pour some of this water out into my water safety bucket. And that that chunk of ice cream is looking, oh my goodness. It's looking just so sad. Okay. This should be about adequate. We might have gotten it a little bit low. But yeah, I will add a little bit more water in here. Give me 1 second, please. All right, we've got the teapot filled up. Now, this is going to be the part of the raw beef tea that's going to get really interesting. And I'm glad you guys are here, because as much as anything else, this is really, truly quite an experiment. So, what we have here is a totally frozen chub of ground beef. It is a tube of beef. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off a segment of it, and we are going to get it, we're going to drop it in, and we're going to get that boiling process started. And like the other one, we're going to put the rest of it in a plastic bag. So, let's see. This is about, we need to figure out about how much we want, and we're going to go about this much. So this is about a third, maybe a little bit more. And the reason we're doing it frozen is because we can just kind of put it in. We're not going to be cooking the meat. Well, we will be cooking the meat, but it's not that we're going to be, per se, we're not going to be eating the meat. We're just going to be using the meat as a base. So, this was Bees' idea. And an interesting one, I think. Unfortunately, cutting through frozen meat is quite difficult. I actually must admit. So, this might take us just a couple seconds. Of course, if we use the serrated steak knife, maybe that goes a little bit faster. Probably not. We are essentially cutting through ice, is the conceit here. This sounds like a Great Depression recipe. Now, this beef isn't the only aspect of the tea. So, we're not going to be simply boiling a chub of beef, of ground beef. Well, that would be fun. We're adding a little bit more class to it, I say as I saw into this little dealie. Quite a workout. Quite a workout. Going through this is really an investment of your time and your energy, but it'll all be worth it in the end, as long as I don't cut my finger off. But the knife's already going pretty deep into it. Pretty deep, I say. It's going in there. So this actually is an old-timey recipe. So we are bringing back the Roaring 20. Well, we're bringing back the we're bringing back the Great Depression a little bit early. But you know, if you want to be prepared for it during these Roaring 20s, you can go ahead and watch me, and you can follow along if you have these ingredients at home. You really can follow right along. All right. While I let that warm up just a little bit, I could. Well, I can't run the. I can't put the knife in the microwave. Sadly, I can put it in hot water. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around and I'm going to. Actually, hot water. We know where hot water is. Right here. As soon as we go ahead and turn this back on. And let's get this teapot boiling. While we wait for the water to warm up a little bit, we're actually going to come back on over to the staging area where our nachos are being preserved. Because the other half of the raw beef tea, see, I wouldn't have just made raw beef tea. What we're doing is, what we've got is we've actually made ourselves a custom blend of tea. The tea bag right here. And this custom tea blend is not chamomile, it's not Earl Grey, it's not any other sort of thing like that. What this is a combination of cooking spices. So what we've got is we've got chili powder, garlic salt, ground pepper, ground red pepper flakes, some salt, and a blend of spices that I'm going to keep a secret because it's my secret ingredient. what we've done is we've removed the spearmint tea out of this tea bag, and we have successfully transplanted a large amount of spices into it. So this is the size of the tea bag. It's just the size of a normal tea bag. And what we're going to do is, as the beef is steeping, a combination of words that I'm sure you didn't expect to hear, we are going to be putting this in it, and this is going to be giving it the spice and the flavor that we really want it to have. So just keep this right here for now. And how's that water? Getting fairly hot. Not really going to do much, but we can let it heat up a little bit and continue here. And patience is the name of the game. So thank you for bearing with me as I cut through this slab of frozen beef. And I gotta tell you guys, I've had some experience cutting through frozen meat. When I was in college... Oh, Bees, thank you for the tier 1 subscription. And the, Dan, thank you for the gift of the tier 1 subscription. Oh, wait, it's Dan, Dan gifted the tier 1 sub. 2 Bees. Dan, thank you for the gift of tier 1 sub. You are absolutely spectacular. And I super enjoy having you. Thank you for the suggestion, by the way, for the appetizer. But I have had many times where picture young, vibrant JD, completely zombified by the requirements of college and all of the stress and the expectations and such, trying in the dead of night to make some sort of beef meal. Because the way I did things, I said, listen, I'm not going to want to pay for burgers every single day from some restaurant that's going to charge me $16 for a burger. So I'm just going to grab, go to Costco, and I'm going to grab pounds and pounds of meat and just make it myself as I'm going about my month. And unfortunately, what I ran into the problem of is that sometimes I would forget to separate these many, many pounds of beef. And what would happen is I would have just a frozen solid block of 4 or 5 or 6 pounds of ground beef. And I'd say, well, I'm not going to make them all, so we're just going to cut some off. And this is really bringing me back to those days of just carving into ice-cold blocks of beef. Really nostalgic. Beef tea is subworthy. Beef tea is subworthy. You are absolutely correct. Hold on. Hey, there we go. And all of our hard work has paid off. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw this beef, the rest of the beef chub, into the plastic bag. Save that for later. Whew. Not gonna lie, that took a little bit of elbow grease. But grease is something we'll be making plenty of today, so I'm not worried. Throw that back in there. Perfect-o. Alright. Now all we've got to do is we've just got to remove this plastic lining because we don't want to boil plastic. That would be not a great idea, I think. We're actually just going to do it little by little until we can kind of just slide it off. Always be careful with your knives. Point them away from you. Don't risk cutting yourself in, in a number of uncouth fashions. And there we go. We can just pull it off. And perfect. And so now what we're going to do is we are just going to slowly drop the raw beef into there. And we're going to take our tea bag. And I assume you just kind of throw it in there. Tell me if I'm doing that wrong, but close the lid so the tea bag stays still. How do you want me to do this? Okay. And we're just going to wait for that to boil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this with a non-beefified board, and we're going to get on over to the next part of it. So give me 1 second. Alrighty, so now we've got the kettle heating up. We've got our combination of spices and beef that are going to flavor the tea. And what I assume in the end this is going to be like is I'm assuming this is going to be akin to sort of like a stew base. We're going to head on back to the serving area here, and I'm just going to take a seat, and I'm just going to chat with you guys for a little bit because we have a little bit of time while that raw beef tea gets going. And I can maybe enjoy just a few more bites of this delicious bacon ice cream, this nacho cheese cream, as it was so eloquently dubbed. It's still very, very good. So, on the subject of teas, what are your guys' favorite teas? Like I said, I'm really not a person for teas, but I figured this is a great time to experiment. I want to know what your guys' old standbys are. You know, what makes you, what do you drink when you're feeling down, or do you guys drink teas for specific purposes, to wake up or to go to sleep or anything like that? Chai is a delicious anytime tea. What makes it so versatile? Hmm, that's a suspicious username. Hey, Hate Raid Legion, are you a real person? No. All right, and we are back, and I have enabled sub-only chat. So for everyone who is not subscribed, I apologize for the lack of being able to chat here, but we'll deal with this in a bit. I'm actually a little surprised it took me this long to get targeted by a one of those hate raids, but fair enough. And I am. It is a little funny that the one comment that got through, bees got in under the wire. That is true. That one comment calling me a fatso is absolutely correct. That is, I am uniquely qualified to run a cursed food stream and debate the merits of this food, specifically because I enjoy food so much. So, you got that absolutely right, bud. Yeah, I think I got cheese. I think I got cheese on my, or not cheese, ice cream. I think I got ice cream on my mic, so if it sounds any different, let me know. I think it should be fine, though. Now that we've done that, let me send us on over back to this area. Mic cream. We did get a little bit of overflow, but we did that. So I'm just going to open this up, and oh boy. So what we've got going on here, just from what I can see, is the outside has been pretty nicely cooked. And I think that there's that's where that's supposed to line up. The outside has been pretty nicely cooked for the beef. So I'm not really sure how long to give it. This is sort of new territory for me. So please bear with me while I do all this, but the spices are stewing, they're brewing, they're stirring, they're churning. We're just going to give this as much time as we possibly can. Normally you would, I don't know, I suppose wait for the tea to steep at a certain amount of time, but because we're cooking raw beef in here, I want to be really on the safe side with how long we give it. So I suppose we'll take a look in about another 5 minutes and just see, or once it starts boiling over again, then we can, revisit that and see what's happening. Yeah. And speak of the devil, it's starting to boil already. I'm take another quick gander at this. And yeah, we've got just a solid flow of water running over this beef, and it is seeming to be pretty thoroughly cooked as of right now. But in order to make sure, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our little dining implements here. And what we are going to do is we are going to poke into this and see how cooked it really is. And it actually seems like the job is being pretty done. Sorry. Let me use my words here. The tea is actually doing a really good job of getting of cooking the beef, which is a pleasant surprise. And I had to fish out the tag there. So we actually may be very close to done with this drink. And this is obviously a beverage that you can serve to your friends or just start off really any dinner or lunch occasion with. So very flexible. And we're just going to give it just a little bit more time. Let's see what it does. Make sure we get everything all properly cooked up. And try it out. And after we do so, I think I will go on a small break. Just to clear out some of those follows that happened. And, get the stream all nice and tidy before we go on to our next dish. But is it still doing all those names? Goodness. Yeah, I think that was about 20 people. Yeah. So I think what they do there is they just have a bunch of bot accounts, which you can tell because you don't have a community of people where they're all like, some sort of name, whatever, a lot of weird, symbols put together, and then just a bunch of numbers. It's the numbers at the end that really like tells me that like, okay, these are formulated bot accounts. Actually closer to, I want to say it looks like it's closer to like 50. Oh, it actually might have been close. It actually might be 100. That's going to take me a little bit to untangle, but oh well. See, the thing is, you'd think they would have better things to do than suck so bad. You would think. Yep. Well, I suppose I should know better if someone named Hate Raid Legion follows me and yeah, I have about 20 seconds before stuff happens. Oh well. Okay. I'm gonna step away for a minute to make dinner. Okay. Well, I'm about to serve the raw beef tea here in just actually, I'm gonna go ahead and try to do that right now. So let me grab a mug. So if you want to see the accumulation of our efforts, I think that we should be just about good. So we're gonna go ahead and turn that off and bring our mug over. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this plate of nacho cheese creams in the fridge so that it can cool down for a little bit, and the ice cream will melt a little bit slower, I guess. Oh, let's see if I can squeeze it in there. Yes, sir. All right. It's gonna neutralize the bacon a little bit, but that's okay. All right. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it right here because I think this is where we're gonna get the best view of it. Because obviously, it's a drink. It's a liquid. We're just gonna use a normal mug. We're gonna use a thicker ceramic one so that I can have the best value out of that. So, oh yeah, oh yeah, you can really see it coming together. So, I think it looks a lot like you would expect it to look. And let me see if I can get you the best angle here. So, it really does look like a soup. I think the color balance on the video camera that I'm using here doesn't really do it justice. Um, it looks like a ramen broth more so than like a yellowish deal, and it smells a bit weak. So perhaps we didn't give the spices long enough to brew. But that's a little hot. And the thing is, I'm gonna burn my tongue if I drink it right now. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take a couple minutes to to taste it, do it. I don't want to burn I don't want to burn myself. Um, I really don't. That would be super unfortunate. Anyway, since I'm pretty sure the hate raiders have gone away, I'm going to disable sub only chat. So those of you who are cool peeps that are actual real people can go ahead and chat, and if some comments start flooding in, I'll just turn it back off. I would be amazed if if those people had any sort of patience for anything. But yeah, here it is, the raw beef tea, and it's interesting because what you would expect is, well, I think what you would expect is sort of a ramen, is a broth. Not having the beef in there and not having the like noodles or anything in there is gonna make it feel interesting, but oh well. I'm gonna grab a drink of water very quickly. I think I'm actually gonna turn the lights back on. One sec. Mm. Oh, geez, that's still... Oh, that's still way too hot. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in the fridge, um, for just a moment, so that it can cool down to a temperature that's like edible. Because like right now, that's crazy. There's just a bunch of steam coming off of it. But yeah, no. That we've prepared our raw beef tea again. What we used there was we used a combination of chili powder, garlic salt, crushed red pepper, a little bit of salt, pepper, and crushed garlic. We kind of doubled down on the garlic, but that's okay. That's kind of how I prefer to make my stuff. Um, and the next thing that we are going to be looking at is we are going to be making our first entree, which is carbonated banana soup. And I agree, garlic is good. Garlic is very good. I can't get enough of the stuff, especially when it comes to spices and cooking up meats and pastas and carbs and stuff like that. So, all right, we have the carbonated banana soup on deck, and that is going to be super fun. I think I'm really excited for that one because we're gonna do a little bit of preparation with the bananas. We're going to be cooking them. We're going to be glazing them in a combination of peanut butter and brown sugar to give them sort of like a very sugary caramelized deal. And we're going to be adding that to shoyu ramen, and we're going to be mixing in some Coke Zero with that. And that's going to be our fizzy banana soup, which I think has a decent opportunity to end up pretty tasty. But we will have to see. And before we see that, I'm going to... Oh, God. Oh, goodness. Can you guys still hear me? I just want to make sure you guys can still hear me, that I didn't pull out the microphone cord. Oh, man. It's, oh, it's still so hot. The thing is, I'm a weenie. You have to understand that when it comes to when it comes to like drinking hot stuff, I'm a super weenie. So what we've got here is we've got a steaming mug of these dudes. We've got a steaming mug of hot beef tea, raw beef tea rather, and that is only as intimidating as the hotness. What's the normal amount of time that you let raw beef tea sit? Sorry, because bees, I don't want to, you know, keep you waiting for your dinner. But I also don't want to burn my tongue. So you see, I've got two different streams of thought here that I'm trying to accomplish. But you got time? No, it's too hot. It's too hot. I can't do that. It's too hot. It's already burning. Just got to toss stuff in the oven. Well, if you want to go ahead and do that, as long as you're not going to take more than like a minute or two, or like more than like 5 minutes, then we're just going to let this sit here and we're going to let that do what it is. But let me, while I am waiting for that, why don't I start with the preparation, at least gathering all the materials so that you guys can see what we're working with for the carbonated banana soup. So the first thing we've got here is we've got a bowl of my favorite frozen ramen. It is another Costco classic. This is shoyu ramen. So it's got a soy salt base to it. And these ones are my favorite because they're not only delicious, they're also so convenient. You fill them up to the waterline, cook them, microwave them for 4 minutes, and then boom, shakalaka. Now we're gonna add a few spices of our own, similar to the spice mix that we use for the raw beef tea. So actually, what we can do, assuming it's not gonna kill me, is we can add the raw beef tea to the ramen. And that, I think, is going to be super exciting. So we can actually go ahead and start opening this guy up. The plastic is sort of finicky on it, which is so annoying. But that's like the only downside to these things. When it comes to waste, like this does produce waste, which is extremely unfortunate, given that it comes in its own bowl. But goodness, they're just so good. Oh. All right. As much as possible, we'll try to get that plastic off. Not that it really matters. The plastic isn't going to get cooked by the water so long as it's not actually in it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this knife and I'm just gonna scrape some of it off. Help me with that. It's glued on really well. Props to whoever the hell invented the glue that goes on this thing. So. But don't worry, we're not taking this and saying like, hey, we're just gonna throw some bananas in some soup, and that's gonna be the extent of the effort that I'm gonna put in. I wouldn't do that to you guys. So we are gonna have a process with the bananas, and the carbonation. So bear with me here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the bits of red pepper because I actually severely dislike red pepper. And that's a personal choice. I apologize. It's obviously not the greatest, but all right. I threw them at my dogs, and they're all asleep, so none of them reacted to it. So now they've got a bunch of red pepper in their areas. Very funny. Okay, I think. Bees, let me know if you're here, because I think I'm ready to finally take a crack at this raw beef tea. It is still hot. It is not steaming. So. Oh, God. I need to make sure the power cord for my computer is very not super greatly. It's in a very inconvenient place, so I'm going to try to not kick it out and absolutely scuff everything. So. All right, we're going to take a sip of the raw beef tea. Wow. So I have one thing to say about the raw beef tea, and it is that it is spicy. That's not the effect that I had anticipated getting from it, but I think the amount of chili powder and pepper that we put in there of multiple kinds of pepper in there, just whew, oh my goodness, like it doesn't have a bad flavor. It does the raw beef tea does very much feel like a it does very much feel like a soup base or like a ramen base, but goodness, like as soon as it gets in there, actually it takes a second or two. It took a second or two there, but once the flavor gets in there, like the spice really hits you, which is pretty exciting. So I'm gonna take another sip of that. Yeah, and what I'm primarily getting from here is pepper. It tastes like it tastes like I boiled peppers, and all that pepper flavor came out. And again, I'm thinking that maybe it's the crushed red pepper that did that. I'm not sure if it's that or the chili powder, but whichever one of those really came out in this, I think I definitely overdid it. So I definitely overdid that. So I can probably tone down the spice, and I think we're gonna give you a example by showing you what the mix we used is, if that's really visible at all. You can kind of see there's a lot of chili powder in there and a lot of crushed red pepper that is, I think, maybe a little too dense, because that's supposed to be chili powder, salt, pepper, and then maybe just like a couple other herbs added in there. It probably shouldn't be nearly as reddish orange as it actually is. But then again, maybe that's just maybe the red pepper has done its job. So I might have to do this again and sort of determine whether or not do it without the chili powder or do it without the crushed red pepper and try to figure out what exactly it is in there that is causing that intense pepper flavor. I think this isn't really a beverage that you would have as an addition to something, unless that something was so like creamy and smooth and milky that like it was totally going to counter this out. I mean, this will wake you up. If you don't want coffee in the morning because you don't want a caffeine addiction or dependence rather, then raw beef tea may be the tea for you. Yeah. The great thing about it though is it's not overpoweringly spicy. So it's not the spicy where you drink it and then you're just like, "Oh my god, my mouth is on fire. I can't deal with any of this. This is just so overpowered." Like, it's not that. It's warm and it's spicy. Spicy lingers for a little bit. But we're not dealing with anything insanely hot here in terms of Scovilles. So, it's almost like what's the correct comp for this? I was gonna say peppermint. It's almost like a strong peppermint drink, where when you get it, it's warm. It's hot. It's got a kick. It wakes you up a little bit, but it's not bad. So, as far as like the weirdest things on here, raw beef tea, a little peppery, but ultimately not too bad. Yeah. So we're gonna leave our raw beef tea here, front and center, and I'm gonna move this pepper stuff out of there. Yep. And I think the pepper is the reason it's so peppery is because of the mix that I added to it. If you don't add, this combination of spices that I threw into there, it's not going to be as peppery. And from what I can tell, it's going to be sort of like a very weak. Really, it's just going to be like, It's going to taste like a very watered down stew. So, if you're okay with basically a warm, watered down stew, really probably mostly for the purpose of warming you up, or if you really need something to eat and you can't drink, like you can't eat solid foods, or for some reason a meal isn't really there for you, it's not something I would go to, but it's not unedible. And I suppose at the end of the day, you have a large chunk of beef to work with. So, all right, that was raw beef tea, and I'm gonna get started on preparing the carbonated banana soup. But while I do that, I'm gonna take a break to deal with some of those stream issues that we were talking about before. So I will be back in about 10 or 15 minutes so that I can take care of that stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Stick around. We will be right back with more entrees in the Cursed Community Food Potluck. I will see you guys then. right, we are back with the food, the cursed food, and our raw beef tea has cooled down significantly. So, Whew, very peppery. But other than that, not bad. Definitely something that you could make. Oh, thank you, princess. Thank you. You are too kind. I actually tried to get like a chair that would get me to like just the right position where it's just like you could see the top of my chest. The video angles weren't super great, but hopefully what I'm doing here is fine. And what we're gonna do actually for this carbonated banana soup is we're gonna take some of our raw beef tea and we're actually gonna use it as the watery base for the ramen, for the soup. So let's build a little bit there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna throw this in the microwave for a couple minutes, and that's going to heat it up, and that's going to be the base of our carbonated soup. Second. And so that's probably going to come out to be a little warm, a little hotter than we intended it to be because it's been sitting out for a couple minutes. But that's totally okay because while we do that, we're going to get to the next part of it. Now, I'm sure that you have been wondering, well, how are you going to? Are you just going to throw a banana in here? I mean, look, we've got a banana. Are you just going to cut up a banana and just toss it in the ramen? No, we're going to put a little bit of effort into this. So let's head on over to our stove cam. There we go. And remember how I said we were going to use this pan again? Well, now that we've got it more fully... Anyways, we're... Sorry about that. I'm mincing my words a little bit because I think I know that we're going to need some water. But now that we've made the bacon with it, we're ready to move on to our next entree, which is going to be making the banana. And what we're going to do here, after all of this rambling, I'm going to reveal that what we're going to do here is we are going to be making a sort of very sweet sauce with brown sugar and peanut butter. And we're going to be mixing the bananas in that. Sautéing it, I believe, is the term we can use here. And hopefully it should give the bananas like a nice, sweet, very like flavor. And we're going to throw that in the ramen. That's how we're going to anticipate that. So I'm going to throw a little bit of water in this. I'll be right back. See, I'm really stupid because I have a bottle of water right here that I can just go in and... Okay. And the reason we're getting some water in there is just to make sure that it's not going to be so thick that we can't do anything with it. That would be really sad. So instead, then we're going to just dump a bunch of brown sugar in here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. If you want me to furnish the Gremlin Navarro like you can, if you want, it doesn't really make a difference to me. I love it as it is. So, you did it as a gift, so I'm not going to obligate you to do like any more of something that you may or may not have any reason to do. You know, I'd like it if you actually cooked good food. Oh, well, maybe I can do cooking streams. I don't think I can do cooking streams on the regular. This has been this has required such intense setup that, like, I'm just gonna, like, sleep for, like, 14 hours after we're done. Okay, let's go ahead and get a dollop of peanut butter in there. See, the thing is, it might sound weird, but the conceit behind all of this is that I want to make food that's good. I want to make food that I would like to eat. So there's nothing here that I'm making that I don't actually want to eat. So take that for what you will. But yeah. No, this is not being done with the intent to like shock a little bit, but like it's meant to expand our flavor profiles. Thank you for the bruh guest. Heat that up. And what we're going to want to do here is, again, we're going to want to get it into like a very low simmer. I may have used too much peanut butter, or maybe I used too much water. We can adjust as we go. Basically, you just want to get it all in there. It's peanut butter's in the way. Let me get that out of here. Peanut butter is bomb in spicy dishes. Also, welcome back, Bees. I agree. Peanut butter is great in... peanut butter is way more versatile than people give it credit for. So, I am very much in agreement here. Now, I may have gone too hard on the peanut butter. We'll see once it starts melting. But what we're going to do here is this is what we're going to be putting the bananas in to give it a sort of sweet exterior and really, you know, caramelize. You would say you want to caramelize things. Well, we're not just gonna cook the bananas. We're gonna do this as a means of getting that caramelization by adding our sort of homemade caramel to it. So here's our banana. And just kind of let this heat up. Try to get it all nice and mixed up. And already, it's kind of hard to see, but near the edges you can see it's all sort of starting to blend together. And that's ideal for us. That's ideal. And in the meantime, we can just go ahead and take this this banana and just cut it up into little bits. This always happens, like, now that like the angle of the banana is like so slanted that like the pieces are getting, oh, hold on. Getting some real boiling factors in here. And hopefully, once we get it boiling, then we can, once we get it all mixed up nice and tight, then we can just put it on a low simmer. And from there, let the flavors really cover the banana. So now it's really starting to boil, or not boil. It's really starting to bubble. Oh, it's looking so good. It's looking like it's gonna be so good. Okay. Oh yeah, it's got this like tortoise shell, like sort of. Oh my goodness. Oh, that looks so good. Well, okay, that's a lie. It doesn't really look good, but it smells fantastic. And it looks like it's going to turn into something really delicious. If we give it just a little bit more time to simmer and come together. The peanut butter's almost melted. Not quite. I want to see if we can really get the peanut butter to just fully sort of integrate in here. Okay. Ooh, okay. And I think this is fantastic. I think I don't know if it's because of the bacon grease, but it's not really sticking to the bottom of the pan and burning, which is really good. So we can get this like really uniform sauce out of everything that we're doing here, which is really awesome. Yeah, there's like, it's like this thick peanut buttery sauce. And I think now, at this point, I'm going to bring the microphone up so those of you who can hear the really low simmer that's going on, which sounds fantastic. Toss this in the sink. And let's go ahead and dunk the bananas in here. It's perfect. I know, real high difficulty stuff, you know, cutting up bananas. But that's where we're at. And we're going to get to just the bananas all coated out in this sort of sauce that we've made. And this is going to be how the banana is really going to contribute to the soup. If it wasn't this sort of, very like sweet, if it didn't have this very sweet glaze, if we didn't cook it a little bit, then it would just be, you can throw anything into anything and say that it's a dish. But I wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of preparation here, a little bit of spice, and I think a lot of that. Oh yeah, it's a lot of peanut butter that's sort of melted off. But even as that happens, we can kind of get the bananas to have this nice warm. Yep, they're heating up, and they're slowly but surely cooking. We're gonna heat it up just a little bit more. I want to see if we can't get these banana pieces to cook on the outside a little bit more. Because if we can not only get them to have this, sort of caramelized exterior, but also, have like a little bit of a cooked sort of vibe there. The bananas are holding together really, really well, which is fantastic. Because if they started to get mushy and started to really like fall apart because of the heat, then it would have sucked. Because then we would have just been like slopping banana flavored mush into our soup. And that's not what you want. You want to have a very particular texture, flavor. That being said, this one is starting to fall apart. So we're going to put that on a simmer, and put that on low setting, and we're just going to let that sit there. Now, in the interest of time, we're not going to have this cooking forever. I think if you were to put it on, like I said, like the lowest heat setting, and put the bananas in there, and maybe simmer it for a very long time, you could get a sort of extremely fine caramelized glaze on the outside of these bananas. We don't quite have that time, or in this video, so I'm going to leave that there for now, and then I'm going to head on over and grab that soup. And this is what my favorite shoyu ramen looks like once it's done. And I mean, it is a very, very, very solid dish. I mean, absolutely fantastic. Let's get this knife on out of the way. And what we're going to do here is we're going to transfer that over into a bowl. Such as... Nah, we're going to use a different bowl. Let me grab a slightly more useful bowl. I'm examining my setup here, and I think what would be the most useful is if I were to have maybe like a very high setup camera over like the main dish area, so you can kind of just see me and all of the stuff that's being prepared, and then sort of like a closer up camera that zoomed in on the food that was sort of on the that it was directly in front of me on this large countertop. And then I would still have this camera here. I think this camera is going to do a fantastic job of covering all of the stuff that we're doing here. But just a little bit of musing to myself about how I would want to do this again. You know, practice makes perfect, and I'm lucky that this is going as well as it is so far. So what we're going to do is we're just going to transfer this on over to this over here. And a little trick that I always use is I like to go over to the water dispenser in my fridge, fill it up with just a little bit of water. And what that does is that's going to get the rest of the soy sauce base that's in the this ramen, and it's going to make sure that all of that gets from the bowl, the microwave bowl, into this ceramic bowl. And oh yeah, it's already, you know, you can hear it kind of starting to bubble a little bit and do all that other good stuff. So now the bananas are actually, I may have done this a bit. I may have messed up a bit because I think by sort of sautéing the bananas like this, I've made them mushy. And that sort of goes against what I was trying to say about having them be solid. But they seem to be holding together pretty well as I move them from the pan to the ramen. So, okay, sure. We're just going to go one by one. We're going to grab them and toss them in. And I'm making a I'm making a gigantic mess here, transferring them over, so I apologize. And then what I'm going to do is, again, in the spirit of not having a ton of food waste, really minimizing that as much as we can, I'm going to, once I'm done with this, move all of the remaining peanut butter mix into a little bowl of its own, so that I can have that for later. And one last tiny piece. Perfect. Oh, another. There's a couple other tiny pieces in here, actually. If I can grab them, then that would be awesome. One, two, buckle my shoe. Okay, perfect. I think that's the extent of it. I think that is the last time we're going to be needing to use. We're going to need to use the stovetop for this. So terrific. And what we're going to do is we're just going to mix these around a little bit, get the sugars and the bananas all mixed up so that the bananas are kind of a part of that, and you can see it kind of getting a little bit more sugary, a little thicker. So, you know, terrific. Time for me to shovel as much of this stuff into a little bowl as much as I can. And I mean, all this stuff is really cooked off brown sugar and peanut butter. There's a little bit of water content in there. Maybe I should have added a little bit more to get it more of a sauce kind of deal. But we can find a use for it later. So. Like I said, trying to eliminate as much food waste as possible. That is interesting. That particular combination, it tastes just that little bit that I just had there. It tastes like a peanut butter cookie because it's sugar and peanut butter. Guys, I'm so smart. Well, my very obvious observations that cooked sugar and peanut butter together tastes like a peanut butter cookie aside, I'm going to go throw this pan in the dishwasher, not the dishwasher, the sink. And I will be back with our final ingredient. Alrighty then. Now, it's time for the final ingredient to our carbonated banana soup. And that is just going to be a Coke Zero. And the reason that I've chosen Coke Zero for this particular escapade is that it is a dark soda that I think is going to work best with the sugary nature of the additions that we've made and mixed in here. So I think it's going to give the soup, and combine that with the soy and the sugar, I think this is going to give us the best result that we can get. So, very quickly, I'm going to throw that in. Going to turn the oven on for some of our future dishes. And there you go. You can hear the crack of the soda can opening. Yep, I can guarantee this is Coke Zero. Very fizzy. There's not really a way around it, so let's just go ahead and pour it in. Thank you for the hydrated dihydrate bees. There we go, we hydrated. So let's mix this in. You can see the fizz coming to the top, and that's not really something you usually see out of a soup. So I'm curious to see if it will settle, or if now this is a fizzy soup. Because it's so fresh out of the fridge, you can see that like it's so bubbly. There's so much carbonation in it. I didn't let it settle at all, or I didn't let any of the carbonation escape at all from the can, because I wanted to get the maximum carbonation here. And what you're seeing is there's a lot of little bubbles that are sticking around. They seem to have been affected. Oh man, that was interesting. They seem to have been affected by the oils in the ramen, and it seems to be a lot more difficult for the carbonation to break out. So we're just going to keep seeing if we can't get some of that to clear up a little bit. It looks like there was some persistent carbonation here that's sort of bonded with the oil bubbles a little bit. So it's cool. So it's giving us sort of like a speckled kind of appearance here. If I can bring that up to you to show you a little bit more, you can see these large-ish sort of dark spots that are indicative of the what I believe are the carbonation bubbles having bonded with oils or trapped oils or something like that. So it's interesting. It's got like a it's like a speckled soup. So I'm gonna bring it over to the main area. Whoop. Make sure not to spill on my computer. And let's throw that on. Okay. Now, this is going to be the moment of truth. How does this carbonated soup taste? Ooh. The banana the banana that we've added to it with the brown sugar and the peanut butter and the soda has really transformed the flavor of the soup into almost like I want to say this is totally inaccurate, but like no, what was it? You really get the peanut butter in there, and so like the word spring comes to mind. Okay, I hit the banana, and then you get like that fruity, like that banana taste after that. That is so interesting. I don't know if there's like a good way to describe what I'm tasting, other than it's kind of exactly what you would expect. It's the ramen plus a lot of peanut butter. The yeah, this is so interesting. I'm trying to find the words to explain. Like the soda is definitely impacting it, but in a really unexpectedly subtle way. Compared, you know, when you add in the impact of the peanut butter, like that seems to really be taking precedence in terms of what's changing the flavor profile of the soup. But the soda is working in there in the background in really unexpected ways. Wow. So this is it. This is the fizzy soup. You know, it's almost like, and I hate to say this, but it's almost like the banana absorbed the majority of the weirdness of the taste. And so every time I bite into a banana, it's really countering the rest of the soup. It's almost like all of like the soda flavor got soaked up by the bananas, as weird as that sounds, and it's like a burst of like this like very weirdly specific flavor. So odd. Hmm. I will say this. I think if you're wondering how to enhance this soup most, I think adding peanut butter and brown sugar to it is going to make it sweeter in a really nice way, at least if you've got a sweet tooth like I do. The banana itself doesn't add a ton, and it detracts from the flavor profile a little bit. But the soda, what's the most interesting is I'm trying to figure out where the soda is coming in, and it really is lurking in the background. So this is carbonated soup, but it's almost like the carbonation has served to trap the oils in these large-ish sort of pockets without really impacting the soup itself. So it's not bubbly. If I were to pipe carbonation into the soup, then maybe we could get a different result, but that's not really feasible. You don't really do that, like, that's not really how that works. So, and by the time you got enough carbonation, it might just be so watery that it would totally ruin the soup. Yeah. I think that's going to be what I have to say about this. It does taste like the banana absorbed the soda. Baking soda and vinegar? I guess you could do that. Awesome. I was not given specific instructions, so I kind of had to ad lib a number of cooking instructions for some of these. So, you know, possibly adding chemical stimulants like baking soda and vinegar might be a good way to do it. But yeah, with the soda, it doesn't really impact the soup until you bite into the banana. But when you do hit the banana, you know immediately. Well, there you go. Banana soup, and we'll wash it down with some raw beef tea. Good lord, that's spicy. I used way too much crushed red pepper. Okay, so I'm gonna reheat that later. Or at the very least, I'm gonna keep it out for right now. But we're going to move on to start preparing our next recipe, which is going to be the Oreo meatball sub. And this one is a fun little ditty that, for the sake of convenience, what I did was I went to everyone's favorite sandwich shop, Subway, and I bought myself a 6-inch meatball sub. It's basically just a hunk of sandwich. if sandwich was like a base element of something, a Subway sandwich would be it, because they really have so little in terms of like actual like additions to it and everything like that. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put this sandwich onto a tray, and we're going to throw it. We're going to heat it up in the oven for just maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and warm it up. And in the meantime, I will show you the other ingredient that we have. As long, but before I do that, let me grab a tinfoil tray so that I can put it on the tray. I said tinfoil tray, I meant tinfoil sheet. But throw all this wrapping stuff away, we don't need that. Anyways, I hope you guys can forgive me the fact that we're already 2 hours into the stream and we're only on our second entree for not making the sandwich from scratch myself. But what we've got for you is a particularly cool treat, because the way that we're going to supplement our meatball sub is with Pokemon Oreos. I was very glad to receive word that the Nabisco workers' strike had ended a day or so ago, so I was able to go out and pick up some of these Pokemon Oreos, and I have no idea which ones. These are all like, they're all mystery. It doesn't even show you a design on the front because it's supposed to be like a mystery, you know, which Pokemon are in there. So we're gonna pop out some Pokemon and we're gonna find out which ones are gonna make the cut. Let's see. Spare the Pokemon Oreos. It is an absolute it is an honor for these Pokemon to become a part of the Oreo meatball sub that we are going to be making. I will just say that. So, oh, poor Pikachu no longer has. Oh no, poor Pikachu has been destroyed. All right, now we've got. I mean, this is. Are these double stuffed? They don't look double stuffed, but they're pretty thoroughly stuffed. Now, who is our first contestant going to be? On one side, we've got the regular Oreo one. On the other, we've got Rowlet. Can you guys see? Oh, I hope the quality of that is good. Hi, Callie. Yes, no, absolutely. These boys are so good. And for our second contestant, we've got Dratini. So we're going to have Dratini and Rowlet in there. No, on the other side, it's just the Oreo logo. All right. Let's see. Should I pick from the middle row, the near row, or the far row? Let me see. What do you guys want? So far, we've got Rowlet and we've got Dratini. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. My mother said to pick the very best one, and you are it. All right, in the absence of you guys choosing, I will extricate an Oreo from here. And we've got a Charmander that looks like he's been the victim of a symmetry tool. So we've got Rowlet, Charmander, and Dratini, and we're going to be doing one more. And poor Charmander. And I'm spying a particularly juicy looking Oreo. So we're going to grab that one. And it is a what? It's just two. It's just it just says Oreo on both sides. We got cheated. It just says Oreo there, and then you go to the back, and it just says Oreo. It's a juicy little cookie. Anyway, let's try this again. Ooh, that's an interesting one. All right. Dark type Pokemon begins with an S. Any guesses? Any guesses in chat while I put the Oreos off to the side? Ding, ding, ding! Bees got it in one. We've got a Sableye. Haha! Hell yeah! You guys had it perfectly. So our lineup for the Oreo for the Oreo sub is the Oreo meatball sub is going to be Sableye, Rowlet, Dratini, and Charmander. Aw, I didn't know Sableye was your favorite Pokemon, Callie. The best horrible gremlin. Right, you are. All right, let's see how our sub is warming up. It looks like it's just about ready. It might need a minute or two more. I'm gonna wait just a minute or two more, just so we can get some really melty cheese in there. Make sure the tomato sauce is all warmed up. I'm gonna finish off this Coke Zero that we poured into our soup. Like I said, you guys can trust me on this stuff. I'm fat. I know, I know food. I'm good at eating food. It's like that, there's that saying, right? Never trust a skinny chef. Well, don't have to worry about honesty with me. What am I going to do to those poor Oreos? We're going to incorporate them into a sandwich. Okay, let's pull this out of the oven. And, oh. There we go. Yeah, it's nice and toasty now. Perfecto. Let's bring this guy on over. Ooh, this got toasty. Toasty, toasty. I'm just going to... Oh man, it got toasty. Nah, hold on. I've got to figure out the best way to do this. I'm just going to use the oven mitts. That's maybe not the most sanitary way to do it, but whatever. It works. Alright. Now we have got ourselves a toasted sandwich of meatballs. And, oh, yep, the cheese is nice and in there. What we're going to do is we're going to replace 2 of these meatballs with Oreos. And we can't just do it, you know, one at a time. So, unfortunately, it looks like this one is closest to the end, so it's going to get out there. It's going to get booped out. And we're going to have Rowlet right here. And we're just going to squeeze in Charmander. And then this one's going to be the tricky one. Just kind of grab that one up from the middle. And Sableye and Dratini are going to be partners. And they're going to go right in here. And we're just going to close that up. And oh, it's nice and crunchy, nice and toasted. If I was able to physically fit the meatballs in, I would definitely have the Oreos in with the meatballs. But unfortunately, we can only fit so many of them in at once. So, 1 second. clear my flavor palette with some of these. And we're just going to go ahead and we're going to dig into this warm, delicious Oreo meatball sub. My jaw did lock up there for a second, so that was cool. But I'm getting like this cheesy Oreo. And that's an interesting combination I haven't yet had the pleasure of experiencing. I have to say, not the worst. My jaw was trying to save me. What I can do is I can take a bite of these meatballs and put them together. And it's really just a very savory, very filling concoction. Very filling meal, I should say. Now, it is rather dry. But, I mean, other than that, as long as you've got a glass of water next to you, it tastes great. It tastes great. So, I don't have any qualms about this one at all. This is really like one of the simplest ones that we have today on our menu, but it's filling. It's savory. I don't have any complaints. And then, honestly, if we're being honest, when you get in there and there's no Oreo, it feels like something's missing. It feels like you're like, oh, I was hoping there would be something a little more substantial. But it's just the meatball. Which means I'm already anticipating getting to the next stage of the sub. Getting through to the next Oreo. And that's really cool. And we're almost there. You can sort of see like that little brown spot is like the sliver of the Oreo peeking through. And there's some meatball left, but and then boom. You hit the Oreo, and all is right in the world. You hit the Oreo, and all is right in the world. And then again, the fact that we removed the meatballs at the beginning means that you can just go ahead and snack on them to get that meatball flavor back in when you hit the Oreo section. And that's really one of the best examples of mutualism that you can find in nature, if you ask me. You'll give me a moment, and I'm just refilling my water so that I can hydrate properly, because it is important to note that we're eating a lot of very rich, very savory foods. Make sure you get a lot of water in your system so that you're not really overloading yourself with, all of these chemicals that are, not good for you in bulk. Obviously, I am preparing and I'm showing off all of these dishes, but the foods that you missed were, we started off, we had for the appetizer, we had the nacho cheese cream, which was very delicious. We learned that if you're going to make nacho cheese cream, it's best to warm up the chips. So the nacho cheese cream is a tortilla chip base with ice cream in the middle and bacon and chocolate syrup on top. And they complement each other really, really, really well. But having the chips be warm really actually synergizes with the ice cream. So that was a little bit of a missed opportunity, but that was really cool. And then we made raw beef tea. And sorry, my mic flew off. And the raw beef tea was, what we did was we cut a chub of frozen ground beef in half. And then we dunked that into a kettle. We put it into a kettle. And we used that, and we used a homemade combination of spices that we put into a tea bag to make tea. And it came out, and I think I used a little too much pepper in my spice combination, but other than that, it was pretty good. And then we have the carbonated banana soup, as you saw there. And now we've just got our Oreo meatball sub that we're just finishing off here. Now, I will say, for this one, do be mindful, because if you are looking for a classy meal, this is probably not it, this Oreo meatball sub, because it's a little messy. The Oreos and the toasted buns can be a little crummy, as in they make crumbs. So just be mindful of that. If you're in a situation where you would get self-conscious by eating that, then maybe eat it somewhere else or choose a different dish. You know what I will say, though? I do think the Sableye tasted the best. Sableye tasted the best. If we're being honest. Yeah, well, it tasted great. And we're almost done here. I will finish that off later. Just a bite or two. But real good stuff. Real good stuff. No complaints. Yep. Those Pokemon served a good cause, so a salute to all of them. They went out with a bang. Okay. Now that our second entree is done, it's time to go with the most deadly food on this list. Who's ready? Because it's not a soup, it's not a stew, and it's not a tea. It's the Flaming Mountain Dew Martini, baby. Let's go. This one is going to be an absolute rocker. So we've got a martini glass. We've got a nice little shot glass. We've got, one second, from the fridge, allow me to gather the ingredients. Yes, please. And you. Perfect. So, what we've got, we have an absolute treat for you guys. And I say that in every sense of the word. We have one of the first available flaming Mountain Dews. And this is a flaming hot Cheetos flavored Mountain Dew. I will not tell you how much this cost me to obtain, because honestly, it is an embarrassing amount of money that it took for me to get this. But we have it, and it's only 58 grams of added sugars. Carbonated high fructose corn syrup isn't even the first ingredient. That would be high fructose, or that would be carbonated water. But we've got Flaming Mountain Dew, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna crack this bad boy open. Boom shakalaka, and we are gonna go ahead and pour a sizable amount in here. Terrific. Now, I know you might be thinking, JD, what are you doing with flaming Dr. Dew? The Flaming Mountain Dew? Well, I'll tell you. We are going to be adding to this flaming Dew a 99 apples, which is 99 proof liqueur actually. This is apple flavored liqueur, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting it on fire, which is going to mean a couple things. One, I'm going to move some things out of the way, because fire safety needs to be at the top of our list. So allow me just a little bit of preparation. Who did that buff, JD? That would be Maxi Molina, and I'm going to give a shout out to them right here. You can find out more of their work there. And now, Dan, I have not tried Flaming Mountain Dew out of the can. You know why? It's because I knew that this experience would be something special, and I needed to share it with you guys. So, this will be my first taste of the Flamin' Dew, and I think that you guys are going to absolutely love it. Now, what we're going to do here is I'm going to reach over, grab another knife. Sorry about that. Yeah. I'm going to reuse this plate because we can. Because we're gross and we can. But all I'm doing here is I have a half of a lime. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to hollow out this half of a lime. And we're going to use it as a boat for the liquor that we're going to set on fire. Because there's not a good way to mix it. And I tried. Please believe me, I tried. But there's not a good way to mix this and then set it on fire. As it is, the flames don't really show up too tremendously well. But that's okay, we have a plan for that. So, I'm going to actually shell this this lime. Give me a second to do so. Lime is a little bit tougher than the lemon I used to practice with, so. One sec. Needed to blow my nose there. I figured you guys didn't really want to get a snog rocket to the ear. Oh, this is interesting. This is tough, actually. I'm trying not to cut myself. I think I actually will use the steak knife. What I want to be careful not to do is I want to be careful not to... Oh dear, this is so tough. I want to be careful not to actually, like, pierce the skin of the lime. Because if I do that, then we're all in a little bit of trouble. I'm actually having a little bit of trouble getting through the tissue of the lime, that is to say the interior part. So I'm going to ad-lib a little bit, and I'm going to try to grab the juicer, if I can find it. That is a big if. But if I can find it, there we go, I found it. Here it is, the juicer. Don't say anything, okay? We don't need it. What we're gonna do is we're actually going to lime the Flame and Dew because I have no regard for my taste buds. And this is going to very adequately give me the boat that I need. Ah, dear. Ah, dear. Okay. I'm just going to hollow out the last few bits of it. What would you say about my kitchen plug? There's simply nothing to say about it. Is the crazy part. So now we have a Mountain Dew Teeny with a heavy lime twist. And by a heavy lime twist, I mean we just fucked this up. No, this is Mountain Dew that is flavored like flaming hot Cheetos. Yeah, girthier handle might be the play there. Anyways, now that we've got this, what we're gonna do is we're going to place the lime right on top, and we are going to move all this crap back. We're going to take the 99 apples, which took me it was insanely difficult for me to find an alcohol even 99 proof. But so this is 50% alcohol, and we're going to just okay. That is just about as heavy as it can get. Okay, it's on the verge of sinking. So Bacardi 151 is always a solid burner. Damn. Well, if I knew about that, then I would have gotten that. Unfortunately, I actually meant to pour about half a shot into this before pouring it into the lime, but that's okay. Now, not to worry, because I have an extremely large bucket of water. So, if anything goes wrong, and nothing won't go wrong because I'm a professional. Also, don't do this at home. Don't try this at home. I'm doing this for you here now with me, so that you don't have to. That being said, that disclaimer out of the way, I'm going to turn the lights off. I'll be right back. Alrighty, kids. Now we are ready. Done. Done. Now, worry not. I've got my trusty bucket of water that if anything goes wrong, I can dunk this stuff into. I've got my lighter. It's a long reach, flexible lighter. And I've got this fire extinguisher here that I can pull and activate at a moment's notice. I'm also going to grab a pair of sunglasses. Alright, the sunglasses are so that if anything goes wrong, my eyes are okay. Alright, who's ready? We also, I should note, have some cinnamon for flair. And if we get to that point, we're going to use the cinnamon. So, who's ready? Alright, 3, 2, 1. And we have a flame going on. We're going to add just a little bit of cinnamon. And that cinnamon is going to make these flames get just a little bit brighter. And now that we've got a solidly burning mass, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a knife and huzzah! The Flaming Mountain Dew Martini, everyone. Bottoms up. And you know what? It tastes like greatness. Ooh, that's got a kick. And I honestly can't tell you where that kick is coming from. The fire, the lime, the 99 proof liquor. I don't know. But goodness gracious, this Flaming Mountain Dew Martini has one hell of a flavor to it. Holy moly. Oh, that's setting my entire mouth on fire. Woo! Now that was fun. Tell me, how did the flames come out there? I hope they came out fairly visibly. I was very worried because the lack of a higher proof alcohol meant that it wasn't going to burn very brightly, but that with the cinnamon looks good. Well, at least it tastes good, and it felt good to do. So there is your Flaming Mountain Dew Martini. Oh boy. Got that down here. No fire extinguisher required. It looks great. I'm happy. That's okay. I'll be able to take a look at that after the stream and make a clip out of it, and I think you may be able to as well. No worries. All right, I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, there will be the VOD will be posted, and it will be available for a couple weeks. And I will be making a video out of it too. So I'm going to turn the lights back on so that we can see. But that was a success. If you guys didn't get a clip, don't worry about it. I would rather be here and celebrate this amazing event and occasion with you guys and worry about getting the clips later. Ooh, nice. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, my whole mouth hurts. The raw beef tea was incredibly spicy, but this just made my whole mouth hurt. Whew. Sweat orange like the 90s Gatorade commercials. Oh yeah, no, I remember those. Those were pretty much exactly. Oh, this is you guys remember those, those extreme satanic panic episodes in the 80s and 90s, and there would be like the people that was like remember that woman that was like bottoms up and the devil laughs, holding up a can of Monster Energy. She was wrong. This is what you drink. This is what you put bottoms up and the devil laughs. Whew. But yeah, that's the Flamin' Mountain Dew Martini, and boy howdy, that couldn't have gone better. So now that we've got our refreshments out of the way, it's time for us to move on to the final ingredient. I say, when I really mean the final entree. And boy howdy, we're already hitting 3 hours. I didn't expect this to take so incredibly long, but I guess that's what happens when you cook on stream. Let me get the final stuff, and I'm gonna send us on over to the stovetop camera so that we can get a look at what our ingredients are here. So this is going to be the cheese and wine pizza. Alrighty. Hello, you. So my sinuses are telling me that something somewhere went horribly wrong. And I, for one, am incredibly ready. Now that I think we have moved on from the foods that are going to make my mouth explode, it's time for a nice, really subtle treat. And I know you're wondering, the cheese and wine pizza. What I'm doing is I'm going to use a Totino's pizza here as a base. And again, I hope you forgive me for using something that is relatively, how would you say, easy to make. Because I think if I spent time making pizza from scratch, then I would hate myself. Rather, this would take so long that by the time I was done, I wouldn't be able to walk. What we're going to do is we are going to throw this pizza in the oven as soon as the oven heats up, which it is almost there because of our very prescient foresight. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these mozzarella slices and we're just going to layer them throughout the pizza. We've got some mozzarella cheese here, and this is going to be the cheese to our wine. And let's just continue doing that just a bit. Okay. I think that's a totally valid amount of cheese. So we're going to grab this, wipe our hands off a little bit, and throw the rest of that mozzarella cheese back in the fridge so that it doesn't get rotten or anything like that. Perfecto. And then with our incredible skills at doing these things, I assume I just used this one for the wine. What we're going to do is now layer some grapes. Now I was intending to use wine grapes as the base. All right, no, I'm not. This is going to take only a few minutes to bake, so I'm just going to leave it in and enjoy some of the other foods. I was intending on using wine grapes for this, but my sister would not let me use her wine grapes for this, so we just have some table grapes. But that's okay, because we're just going to throw some grapes. These are actually right from back outside, so these are very fresh, very natural. Everyone's super duper happy. And we're just cutting up some grapes here, and we're going to throw them on here, and we're just going to see how this comes out. And this is you could consider it a take on the pineapple on pizza debate. People wonder, well, is it okay to have pineapples on pizza? Is it okay to have, these other fruits? What about grapes? Let's see what grapes are doing. And what we're going to do is we're going to layer about half of this pizza with grapes. I'm cutting them in half for maximum stay on ability. And for the other half, what we're going to do is we're actually just going to put the whole grapes fresh from our little bag, our little box of grapes here. We're just going to put those on, and we're going to compare and contrast the process by which grapes bake and see, is it better to put grapes on before you bake or after? Since I'm not entirely sure how grapes will fare in the oven, so just going to put on Maybe one more grape here. Yes, I will drink more Flaming Dew while we wait. Don't worry. And the wait shouldn't be long. It only takes about 8 or 10 minutes for these to go through. So we're just going to throw that on there. And now we've got our pizza ready and in there. Perfecto. I will suffer for your amusement. Don't you worry. I believe it's 10 minutes, so we're going to cook and 10 minutes. The instructions on the pizza say 10 minutes. And hopefully we're just going to get a nice melty mozzarella middle. And on top of that, we're going to be able to just have some delicious grapes, and we're going to see how that comes out. I'm anticipating it's going to be pretty dang good, but I suppose at the end of the day, we shall see. Oh dear. Oh dear. One sec. This cutting board has gotten a bit juicy. So we're going to wipe it down on the edges. Yes, that is a microwave pizza. Well, actually, no. I don't think they recommend using microwaves for it. That would be a Totino's pizza, which I think most people would commonly associate with throwing in the oven. I have tried to microwave Totino's pizzas before in college. It doesn't really work very well. It is trash. It is awful. I don't recommend it. It's a frozen pizza, but you put it in the oven. We used a frozen soup because, again, I mean, you saw like the bits of the things that we did do on our own, cooking the bacon, for the nacho cheese cream. We made the bananas and the glaze for the carbonated banana soup, and that just took forever. Comparatively, the other things were so much easier. But yeah, no, we're gonna. Oh, I'm not microwaving the grapes. I'm putting them in the oven. The grapes are going to be baked, not microwaved. Yes, no, this is they're going to be in the oven for now. Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab the last little remnants of the Oreo pizza and just finish that off. My mouth is so full. There are so many conflicting flavors in my mouth right now. I cannot express what I'm going through right now. It's a combination of pure unfiltered hedonism and absolute insanity. Hey, the look, that's just the yellow 6 and the red 40. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't able to get one can. I was forced to cut a backroom deal and receive a legitimately insane amount of flaming hot Mountain Dews. So I'm going to be drinking these for the next couple weeks. It's actually taking a significant amount of willpower to drink more of this. Oh my god. It's not that it tastes bad or anything like that. It's just that it goes into my mouth and it punches my tongue, and then it punches the roof of my mouth, and then it punches my cheeks, and it's like, hey, hold on, I think your lips got some of that too, and then it just smacks those. Um, the flavor is everywhere. The flavor is everywhere. Is it like a big red spicy? Um, I think so. I think so. It's been, God, I can't remember the last time I've had big red, but I I do have I do have Cheetos. Yes. Why do you ask? What do you do you have a suggestion for what I should do with my Cheetos and my cinnamon? Because any Cheeto flavor in the do. Okay, fine. I'll put away my Cheetos. You know what? Kelly's right. Let's cinnamon some Cheetos and see what that tastes like. Okay. We have 3 whole Cheetos. We're going to experiment on 3 whole Cheetos. I don't think you guys can see the Cheetos at all, because of the contrast. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this. I'm going to sprinkle some cinnamon on them, and that's going to kill me instantly. This is such a stupid idea. Okay, well, so this is a Cheeto with cinnamon on it. Wow. That's incredible. It's just ground cinnamon. I'm actively locking myself in a phantom zone of flavor. We are unlocking things that should not be real. And it's not because they taste bad, or taste exciting, or taste good, specifically. It's that these tastes happen to me, and my body sort of, like, looks at me and says, I don't know what that is. I don't have a receptor for that flavor. So we're just going to assume that nothing happened, because if you make me consider it, I'm going to fucking die. Yes, this is when what's his face, racist McAsshole, conceived the novel The Color Out of Space. He was unwittingly laying the foundation for a flavor out of space joke that I'm about to make right now. This is what it is. This is the flavor equivalent of The Color Out of Space. I'm talking like Lindsay Ellis does? Interesting. I don't know too much about her. Hey, boy. Alright, Denko is... Okay. I'm gonna let my dogs out. We have about 3 minutes left on the pizza. So I will be right back. Actually, I don't think I can do dog cam right now. I'm sorry. The camera that I have established right here is already kind of at its limit for how long it can go. The camera that is being used for the stovetop, this stovetop camera right here, it can't move like any more than it is right now. I don't think I'll be able to give a good dog cam. And besides, they just ran outside, so I apologize. But yeah, no. Don't worry, I will send you multiple videos of the dogs. They were very cute outside today. I kept them outside for most of the day because they weren't being loud or anything like that. So, and I found them taking naps in nature underneath some of the trees. They just found a nice spot in the shadows and just kind of passed out for a while. It was very cute. Well, thank you, Princess. I had a great time hanging out with you too. You're a very fun person. I'm glad that you're here. They did take a nature nap, yes. And speaking of nature, and the unholy abominations that it produces in eventuality, the pizza's done. All right. I'm so excited. Just can't believe it. Excellent. I'm going to quickly transition the pizza on over to the serving area. 1 second. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got a nice little... Where'd my knife go? Where the heck did I put my knife? We'll just use this one. What we've got here is a nice pizza with molten mozzarella, and half of it has grapes that are fully cooked, and the other half is going to be full of grapes that I am going to simply plop on top. And I really cannot wait to see how this kind of turns out in totality. We're just going to throw some of these on here and just kind of let those get nice and juicy there. Just nice and juicy. I hope you guys are excited. This is... Where did the grape go? Huh? What? Oh. It went somewhere on the ground. Okay. Got you in half, and almost done. I mean, this thing is... The heat is just radiating off of this. This is fresh. As fresh as you're going to get from a frozen microwave pizza, anyway. Not microwave pizza, frozen oven pizza. Squish. We're going to put a grape on right there, and that will be the extent of that food preparation. Where did I put the lid to this thing? Way over there. Oh, well. Okay, the grapes are going out of here for right now. And I have to grab my pizza cutter. Hell yeah. Because really, if we're being real, half the reason I made this was because I've got the world's tiniest pizza cutter. I mean, it's not even like the size of my palm. It's so tiny. But we've got this this incredible pizza cutter here. So we're just gonna go ahead and slice up this bad boy right here into, I guess, into thirds, into sixths rather. I say thirds because each half is going to be cut into thirds, although that's not perhaps the very best way of doing it, but whatever. Huzzah. Now we've got our pizza sliced into little tiny bits. And I'm not gonna lie, standing here is gotcha. Bees, if you stick around for about 5 or 10 more minutes, I can show you the last food, which is already prepared. But if you're gonna hop off, thank you for coming, and thank you for being an awesome contributor to both the stream and the potluck. Glad having you, and thank you for everything that you have done. All right, so we've got a nice little warm pizza. Okay. The grapes definitely give it a really interesting kind of zest. It's not spicy, it's not sharp really, or it's not any of that other stuff that maybe we would have gotten from some of the other extreme elements on this stream, but the mozzarella does a great job of being its own very substantial addition to this pizza. But it is the grapes that really bring it together. Yeah. Without the grapes, it's not nearly the same. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try this other half. And so this is the half that does not have... This is the half with the fresh grapes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 So, comparing the two, there is actually a clear winner. And in my estimation, the side with the baked grapes is much, much better than the side with the fresh grapes. And it's not really something that I anticipated, but the grapes themselves aren't piping hot or anything. They do provide a jolt of freshness without necessarily being cold where the pizza is hot. So it's actually a very solid contributor. And I, for one, am very happy with it. I'm going to, I think, add more grapes onto these and then eat them a little bit later. But so far, I've got to say that I am very happy with the parts of the pizza that have the baked grapes on them. So if you're going to do this, if you're going to add fruit to your pizzas at home, I would recommend baking them on top of the pizza. The synergy with the rest of the pizza just is so much higher when you bake the fruit onto it. So that's going to be my sort of appraisal of the cheese and wine pizza. And if it were not for the fact that, you know, I haven't eaten but if it were not for the fact that I had already eaten a bunch of food here, I would probably be chowing this stuff down because it is very good. And I think adding some more grapes would make it even better. So, yeah, no, very positive review of that. But in the interest of time, we're already over 3 hours. I am going to try to introduce the very final food. That's right. Yes, this is because we were not able to prepare everything beforehand, because it's taken me like 3 hours to do this, and you know, it's just how it worked out, how it shook out. It's been a very long and rewarding time. But now it is time for us to transition onto our very last food, the SpaghettiOs aspic. And no, Princess, you missed the raw beef tea. The raw beef tea. and the nacho cheese cream. Hi, Danko. Hi. He's looking at me like he deserves food. He does. Hi. Go outside. Go outside with your brother. Would you even consider licking a Switch game cartridge or eating dog food? Genuine question. No. That's not really food. That's just a challenge. I would do the challenge, but I wouldn't like make it like a stream or anything. Oh, the nacho cheese cream was tortilla chips topped with ice cream, bacon, and chocolate syrup. It was actually very good. The takeaway was that you need to warm up the tortilla chips beforehand to make it the very best. Anywho, let me go ahead and grab our very final concoction. All right. What we've got here is the SpaghettiOs aspic. And for the aspic part, I didn't really know what the fuck aspic is other than gelatin. So I used Jello. And I hope that's okay. If it's not, then sue me. Sue me. I don't care. What I did was I mixed SpaghettiOs and corn so that it could have a little bit more of a full-bodied flavor into orange Jello mix. And I am very excited to reveal it to you guys. Here it is, surprisingly. No, it's just very liquid on top. Well, I didn't have the time or patience to make some sort of broth gelatin. So like I said, I used Jello. And in order to present it the best way we can, what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna whack it a bunch. Okay, so bad news. It's still gelatin. So it's upside down, but it's not really doing anything. There we go. All right. All of you Jello haters that didn't believe that I could do it. Here is our very final dessert, and it is the SpaghettiOs aspic. And I don't know about you, but I'm so excited to try this out because what it is is a mound of Jello, SpaghettiOs, and corn. I did try to make sure that it would stay consistent, but at some point you have to let it go, and it looks like all of the stuff just kind of settled to the bottom. But it's still a nice, fairly mound-looking thing, so can't be too upset. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and grab a spoon, and we're just gonna dig in. So first, let me just make sure that the Jello part is okay, that I haven't screwed that up. Nope. Jello seems to be fairly good. So let's just go ahead and dig right on into the aspic part. And that is SpaghettiOs and corn in Jello. SpaghettiOs and corn in Jello. Yeah, this tastes like what a mad housewife would do to subtly get back at her husband. You know that meme about aspic is just what like people that hated their partners made back in the 60s? That's what this tastes like. I'm not gonna lie. There's not a ton of redeeming factors about this, other than the fact that I know that there's still a bunch of Jello in here. But I think a bunch of the tomato part of the SpaghettiOs like kind of leaked out and got into the Jello, and I think that made the Jello less good. So it's the cold tomato. It's the cold tomato sauce that does it. I think out of everything we've done, most of it had some pretty redeeming qualities. I don't think this makes the grade. I'm not gonna lie. Whew. I think I'm gonna wash it down with some flaming Dutini. Mm. My entire mouth might hurt, but that's a preferable feeling to having SpaghettiOs aspic in my mouth. All right. So I think that that's gonna about wrap up the JD's community cursed food potluck. And honestly, I feel a bit selfish putting my name at the front of that. This has been a community effort, and I really couldn't have done it without you. And I've learned a lot of very valuable lessons along the way. So thank you guys for being here and for weighing in and watching and enjoying as we have prepared, served, and then eaten some of these. Here's the thing. I will finish this. Just like everything else that I've made, I will finish it. I didn't do this to create a bunch of food waste. I didn't do this because I just had a bunch of money to throw around and I wanted to spend it doing like the weirdest shit imaginable. Okay, that part is true. But I will finish all of these and I will eat them because the reviews that I have given for all of them and my thoughts on them are 100% true. They are my own individual viewpoints, and my tongue hurts. It is in pain. How did this happen? This So if you really enjoy pain, I would recommend the Flaming Mountain Dew Martini. If you're just in a really weird situation and you need something, the raw beef tea may be there for you. If you just want to have if you just want to just pig out, the nacho cheese cream is your guy. If you just want something new and interesting, pour some Pepsi in your ramen. And if you just want to indulge and just like have a big ol' sloppy meal, the meatball Oreo sub is there for you. And if you really actually want to try something interesting, the cheese and wine pizza is pretty cool. How does it the SpaghettiOs aspic it tastes like a repressed housewife from the 60s that hates her husband. And it tastes how that feels. I will finish it, but this will be this is easily the least strong menu item that we have put together for you today. All right, I think that this is a good point as any to wrap up the stream. Thank you so much for everyone for coming. If you want to see, if you want to take another look at what was on the menu, you can do so with the ! menu command. It will be up on the stream for quite a while for you to take a look at. And if you want to ask me on the Discord how I did all of these stuff because you forgot or you're too lazy to look up the stream VOD or it's not posted somewhere, you can check out my Discord through the !Discord hashtag, or on most of my socials there are links to it. That's where I hang out. It's where all the cool people hang out. So come hang out with us. And in the future, we might do more stuff like this. This was absolutely a labor of love, but it was super fun to do, and it was one hell of an adventure, and I'm glad I could do it with you guys. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being awesome. We survived Dutinis and hate bot raids, so you deserve to celebrate. I'm going to put all this stuff away and then die, but I think that you guys should do a little something to celebrate yourselves because you deserve it. It's the weekend, and here at JDS Infinity Corporation, we are all about doing the stuff that makes you happy, even if it doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense. Thank you for watching my lower half walk around a kitchen and prepare food. My upper half will be making an appearance sometime later, and I won't tell you when. So that'll be a surprise for you. I'm going to send us on over to Katie because she is streaming and she deserves a little bit of love for all of the stuff that she does. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all of you. I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.